Hello there, welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase, and I am delighted to have Mark Hinkins here today from Rex Software. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Simon. How are you?
Yeah, good. All excited. Everything else, I'm excited today as well because obviously CRM. Whilst I have to admit to being a bit of a obviously trained spotter, it is my first love and joy. So I'm particularly interested to talk to you guys who. Okay, I think it's not fair to say you're the industry's best kept secret because actually a lot of people are starting to know about you. But equally, you are new on the scene relatively, aren't you? And you've got a lot in your kit bag to be talking about. So I'm not going to. For once, I'm not going to let the whale waffle get in the way of actually talking to you about it. But I think what would be really interesting, just before we kick into Rex itself, Mark, is just give us a bit of background on yourself, because I think fantastically you've worked at the coal facing agency, so you know it particularly well. You've worked with a number of the main packages, and I think that stands you in really good stead. So do you want to just give a bit of background there?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks for having me on the show. So I started off, I guess, around 12 years ago, and probably one of those classic cases of falling very much into working in property. So I started off working on weekends in an agency in Torquay, which is where I grew up. I then moved, went to university, came back, went traveling for a little bit, and then came and moved to London and started working for a home search consultant. So helping find homes, worked on the buying agent side of things as well, and did that for about 3 or 4 years. And then moved to Countrywide, where I worked within the corporate services team, which is a really, really great insight into the letting side of things, working with some high net worths who are moving over to the UK, and both on the kind of the buying and the letting side of things. And then this opportunity at Rex came up. So been here for about 1.5 years now, and really enjoying it.
Cool. And I've been lucky enough to have a demo from you, and you do you really know your onions. So I think that's fantastic. I encourage anybody out there thinking about it to have a demonstration with yourself. I not to prejudge how the rest of this goes, but I was pretty blown away. And I should say, I know about Rex because, of course, we did. I went to Aric a few times. My old company Reap opened up over there and continues to do so. So I did know of Rex, but I thought I knew Rex. I'd seen it a few years ago, and just to me, it's come on quantum levels. It was a good package then, but I think what I see now, especially the way that you have customized it for the UK market, really offers a lot of potential. It looks really exciting, and I assume that's what must have caught your eye with it when the opportunity came up as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. There's a lot of CRM packages out there. What was really kind of eye-catching about Rex is how we kind of make the day that much more efficient. As I said, how we make things more productive for an agent, so that they can maintain long-term relationships. The market in Australia and the way that real estate operates is a little bit different, to how it is over in the UK. But there are a lot of similarities, and probably more similarities than there are differences.
Definitely, yeah.
And that's exactly how, look, a CRM is not just going to go from Australia and go to the UK, or UK to Australia, and work perfectly. It requires that localization. We feel we've nailed it now with Rex in the UK, and we're starting to roll out like additional features, which are new things that are being built on top of the main product, which are really kind of giving Rex an edge compared with our competitors in the marketplace.
And let's just, and absolutely concur with everything you say there. And actually, I'm sure you guys did it better than when I did it. But when we went over there, we underestimated that localization thing. We thought terminology, might be the main thing. But actually, just a few of the niche ways that things, obviously the total reliance on open homes over there, the way that it's a month, obviously, essentially, there's so much going at auction as well, as they would call it over there. That actually took a time for us to get it right. So it took us a year or two. And I think what's interesting now is you're through that kind of MVP phase, as it would be. And one of the big, wonderful bits of innovation you've already come out with is you've got this fantastic tie-in, haven't you, with the land registry to help out with, well, just all sorts of information, but primarily prospecting. And when you showed me it the other day, I was kind of eyes wide open, wasn't I, looking at the way you've done that. I'm guessing that's going down very well with the UK clients and prospects you're talking to.
Yeah, absolutely. As you sort of alluded to, moving from that one market to the other market, getting that MVP in place is really, really important. There are certain things in the UK market which are just almost unique to the UK market, having chains in place, for example.
Yeah.
They don't really exist within Australia, and having to build that functionality out is something that's kind of the initial challenge there. But then it allows us on top of that to look at things like, as you said, the land registry integration, which is going down extremely well with agents. You can bulk import the sales history of a particular street, postcode, partial postcode, have all that information in one place and start to prospect out from there. So get out letters, get out flyers, get out emails. And it's something that really kind of allows you to have that single point of truth, which is something that we really, really highlight, having all that information in one record in one place.
Excellent. So we were going to talk today, loosely speaking, as usual. We've been talking for 10 minutes, and it's only now that I ever talk about what the title is. That's just me being incompetent. But today we were going to really try and frame it, other than obviously being the introduction to Rex for many people here, as being the most productive and efficient version of yourself, a day in the life, essentially, of what it looks like to be a Rex agent, isn't it? Which I think is a lovely way of obviously looking at that there. So first of all, just detailing, obviously, you know, there's more, thankfully there's more CRMs than you can shake a cat at, or whatever the saying is over here, because otherwise we'd be quite quiet on Kerfuffle. But what sets you apart? What is there what's the main difference, do you think?
So what's really interesting, this is how we looked at it a little bit, was a lot of CRMs will demonstrate, and their salespeople will demonstrate the CRMs and say, look, this is our dashboard, this is one feature, this is what this does, this is what this does. And you think, actually, how are we going to apply this, and how are we going to use this on a day-to-day basis as an agent? We stripped it back and looked at the day in the life of an estate agent, and where can we make you more productive? Where can our tools, our features help you to do what you do best, rather than just replacing an essential agent transaction, an essential kind of communication with a client or with a prospect, replacing that with tech. It's actually enhancing that and allowing you to free up your time to build those better relationships, which is something that we really highlight at Rex. So the kind of more productive journey, it allows you to send mail messages, so emails all in one go. All of these kind of little things that you do one by one usually takes you 20 minutes to get through 10, 15 emails. In Rex, you've got a feature, you hit bulk merge, and you can send out all of your templated emails for the day. Huge amounts of prospecting ability, huge amounts of staying in contact, that ability. And it just kind of simplifies that for you and allows you to use your time better as you work through your day-to-day tasks. So
as technology should promise to deliver anyway, isn't it? I mean, yeah, that's great. And I think that is the thing, is, you know, you're doing a number of different things there that will be music to many people's ears, in terms of, yes, you look, that most important, the sexy part of it, helping with the prospecting, helping you win new business, fantastic, big tick in the box there. But secondly, as well, it is raising just the customer satisfaction standards, service element there is clearly runs really, it's absolutely central and core through Rex, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, I completely agree. As I sort of alluded to, we're not replacing that communication, that essential contact that you have, the initial conversation that you have with an applicant, that communication you have with a vendor, where you're kind of realigning their expectations, managing their expectations. We don't try and replace that. We don't try and overly automate that. We allow you to free up your time, do the simple tasks and get them done very, very quickly, and have better communication, better educated communication because of the data, and have that with your prospects and with your clients.
And that really comes across. And so using like a series of kind of reminders, it's really prominent again within Rex when we had that demonstration. And what's the kind of premise behind that? Are these all out of the box reminders? Are they customizable? You know, because the simplicity of, and it sounds such an obvious thing, doesn't it? But I don't think trying to get across to people the power of those reminders is a really key element in your demonstrations, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. It's something we center, I would guess the first sort of 15 minutes of the demonstration is very much centered around this. And the premise is around maintaining and building long-term relationships. Yeah. Something that caught my eye particularly in a statistic I heard just last week, I think it was, If you are a buyer who is buying a property, the chances of you selling that property through the same agent is about 8%. I think it's about 1 in 12 or sort of statistics, which is ridiculously low when you think about it. If you bought a home, who are you going to sell it with? You should be really going to the agent you bought it from in the first place. In Australia, that's about 60%. So it's about 6 times as high, I think. A massive amount, much higher. And it's because things like we have, like this tracks feature, like you're mentioning, which are basically a series of reminders or a checklist of reminders that you tick off over a period of time. And what they can be used for are from getting you from one step to another and nurturing relationships over a period of time, or maintaining those long-term relationships. So simple things where you might book in a valuation and have different nurturing points over a period of time that will best get you from the initial book valuation to the instruction. Or if you sell a property, what do you do then? You don't just finish up and never speak to that particular buyer again. In a week's time, you follow up, see how the initial move's gone. You have another reminder in a 3 months' time. How's the move gone? Here's some information about local restaurants or something like that. Just staying in contact, something useful for them. 12 months' time, you send them an anniversary card and it's all templated there for you. 18 months' time, you know how popular 2-year fixed mortgages are at the moment. You know they're on a 2-year fixed mortgage. Can you refer them to a mortgage provider? Staying in touch, giving them something useful. In 2 years' time, you've got another reminder in place, something that's automatically there, automatically prompts you to go out to that particular buyer and say to them, look, you bought your house at this price. In your local area, house prices have been going up this much recently. Here's how much your property is probably worth. Would you be interested in transacting again? And just having those series of reminders that can be used for anything. They're completely customizable, completely tailored. You can run the business around them and tailor them exactly how you want to use them.
And that strength that runs through Rex in terms of, just on that basic premise of, the simplicity of the records, one view of the contact, everything that's going on there, the reminders very easy as well. That also extends through as well, doesn't it, into communication and indeed event calendar organization. So one of the things that I just opened my eyes again was that fundamental strength that you can tie in natively into things like Gmail or Outlook, not just for calendars, and diaries, but actually also into the tracking of emails. Is that bi-directional? So does it go in and out? So literally anything that can be sent out that is stored against a record in Rex that goes out from within, say, Outlook, will still be stored back into.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that every manager at an agency will encourage their staff to copy and paste their emails into their CRM. But it just doesn't get done, does it? It's so time consuming, it's mundane, and you think, right, no, let's get on to the next thing. There's no point in that. It's just time consuming. With Rex, we simplify it. We have what we call an email Dropbox feature. Every email you send or receive, they will all appear within this Dropbox and they'll get filtered against the particular contact record. So you've got that unified summary of all the communication you've had with that particular contact. It allows better informed conversations, it allows better teamwork, and it just helps you to run that business that bit better. Same with your calendar as well. We've got a two-way sync there. So if you're putting appointments into your Outlook calendar, you're receiving appointment requests through Outlook. Everything that goes into your Outlook calendar will appear in your Rex calendar. You're booking viewings through Rex, you're booking valuations, it appears in your Rex calendar. It gets two-way synced through to the Outlook calendar as well. You're not double booking yourself, nothing gets missed, and it's really, really simple, keeps everything in one place.
It's absolutely exceptional. As I said, I was trying to think back. I guess some of those, the wider packages out there, any of the ones that are done on Salesforce, again, there's ways and means that you can get to that, although it's certainly not as slick as the way I saw it in Rex. And I think there was a basic kind of functionality in the old Dupix system, but again, this takes it on to just the absolute next level. And I know from my own demonstrations, we would get bogged down into sort of diary synchronization, so what happens actually, what happens if we're trying to say a manager needs to investigate something? You can't just go to one place, can you? You've got to then go back through emails and Outlook and anything else there. So yeah, I mean, and this is before we even start looking at the horror show of GDPR and all of that. you know, that legal nonsense as well, isn't it? It's legal nonsense, he says, but you know, very important legal nonsense, obviously. So excellent, Mark. As I said, very exciting. I think we're going to see a lot more of Rex. I'm going to certainly be keeping my eye on it, and I'm already looking forwards to our next talk and catch up.
Perfect. Me too. Appreciate it. Thanks very much, Simon.
Cheers, Mark. Thank you.